Alright, I am back out here again with the Volantex Ranger 600, the brand spanking new 4-channel version they just came out with. This is courtesy of Banggood. I want to thank them much for sending this for review. This is the absolute best beginner plane I have flown to date. Okay, so I think I like my launch throttle at 60% with a moderate chuck with a slightly upward angle. That seems to work the absolute best. You can launch it at 50% throttle, but it seemed a little sluggish on launch at 50% throttle. So let me see, my wind is coming from the water tower over there. Alright, I got it in beginner mode. Let me set my timer, 7 minutes, launching. Yeah, 60% throttle, it just takes right off, doesn't lose any altitude. Plenty of power at 60%. Coming downwind. But this is by far the absolute easiest beginner plane I've ever flown. I mean, the slow flight capability, the glide that it has, the fact that you can just cruise around with this for with the stock battery, you can cruise around, I would say, for 12 to 15 minutes at 45% throttle, just using aileron. What a fantastic! They did an awesome job with this plane, just an absolute awesome job. I've got, I would say, about 3 to 5 out here right now as far as wind. 3 to 5 miles per hour. I actually had almost calm wind the first time I launched it. That is highly unusual. Okay, so let's cruise around. I've got a 1S 550 milliamp hour LiPo in it right now that weighs 11.6 grams. I think the stock LiPo, the 1S 400 milliamp hour LiPo, weighs, I think it's 9.9 grams. The heaviest LiPo I've flown it with so far was a WL Toys 1S 500 milliamp hour 25C LiPo that weighed 11.9 grams. So 2 grams heavier than it was stock. And there was no worries there at all. But you know, 500 milliamp hour LiPo, that's 25% more capacity, right? So you're probably talking about 15 to 16 minutes of flight time with the 1S 500 milliamp hour LiPo. That put my all-up weight at just under 72 grams. Can you believe that? With a stock battery, this plane is less than 70 grams all-up weight. I don't know how they managed to make that so light, but man, is that awesome. And beginner mode, which is what I have it in right now, as you can see, it's just using 3/4 aileron movement, I'm able to make a nice tight turn radius. You can fly this in a really small area, and look how slow it flies. It makes a great beginner plane, not only because of how stable it is and how well behaved it is and how much flight time you get and how light it is, but also because it has a pylon mounted pusher motor. So if they nose it in, they're not going to damage the motor or the prop, which is awesome for a beginner, and even for somebody who's intermediate mode skill level like me. But this thing is just, it's awesome. It has an excellent glide. I would say if you live in an area where you have constant wind, you know, from a single direction, I bet you'd be able to slope this plane too. And I think look at how slow it flies and the small area that you can fly it in, I would say that you could fly this in a gymnasium, put a little all-in-one FPV camera on it and fly FPV either outdoors or in an area like a gymnasium. I think looking at how tight this will turn. Look at that. I think looking at how tight that will turn and how slowly you can fly it, I don't think you'd have any problems flying this in a gymnasium, FPV or line of sight. And like a sub 70-gram plane, I mean, jeez. Well, an all-in-one 1S FPV camera would put it, what, about 5 grams heavier? So around 75 grams? That is just awesome. And it looks so nice. I like the color scheme that they've got on this. Okay, so let's climb up and let's take a look. I want to show you the glide. I'm trying to figure out where my wind is coming from now. Yeah, I think it's still coming from the water tower, so let's turn downwind, get a little distance away. Okay, now let's turn it back towards us and just cut throttle. Throttle's all the way off. I'm going to give it a little aileron to get it out of the sun. That's just gliding. Just gliding. Looks like maybe I need a little right rudder maybe. Well, it's still gliding. I'm going to turn it back this way. I'm still gliding. I don't have any power in it. It's coming downwind now. I'm still gliding. Alright, power in. Isn't that something? That is just fantastic. Okay, so now let's get it over here and let's just make some rudder turns with it. Okay, so left rudder, and there goes my timer. God, I've had it in the air already for 7 minutes. Alright, so I'm pulling back on the throttle a little bit. Alright, I'm just using rudder. Just using rudder. Alright, right rudder. Just right rudder. Look how flat it stays. Okay, left rudder. Just left rudder. Give it a little bit of throttle. Just left rudder. Okay. We've had our fun. Let's bring it in here and land it. I'll bring it over this road. Okay, gliding. Just gliding. Just gliding. This is so easy. So easy. Well, I'm loving it. Let me put it in manual mode here. I just love bringing this out here and just cruising around with it, gaining some altitude, gliding around, just making those nice flat sweeping turns with rudder only, making just aileron only turns. You cruise around through the whole battery pack at about 45% throttle, no worries whatsoever. Easiest to fly plane I have seen yet. So links to it in the show notes. There's an exclusive link for Ground Control RC with an exclusive coupon code that brings the price down to $112. I don't know if that's a 2 battery version or a 3 battery version. There's only $2 difference between the two. So I would test the 3 battery version first with the coupon code and see if it brings it down to $114. I don't know. It may be only for the 2 battery version, but check it out and see. But even at the entry price, because this is a brand spanking new plane they just came out with, even at the entry price, the 2 battery version is only $139.99. The 3 battery version is only $141.99. The plane comes fully assembled. There's nothing to assemble. All you have to do is put 4 AA batteries in the transmitter, charge up your flight batteries, and you're ready to launch it. You know, even cruising around hands off, it stays nice and straight and level. It's a fantastic flying little plane. Alright, so once again, the links are in the show notes, coupon codes in the show notes. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the air.